Do you envision that sort of opening statement by Ohio State, or maybe a little more conservative with the young quarterback and guys in the backfield? Why or why not?
Well, that's an interesting point, Skip, because that was Will Howard. That was experience, and that was a team that was playing angry because of what happened the last time they were on that field. And you certainly can't discount the fact that all of the orange in the stands seem to have something to do with that element. Tennessee tried to pull an old Bengals from the freezer bowl with linemen coming out without shirts, which lasted about 10 seconds. It's hard to think that you'd see that kind of aggressiveness with a brand-new quarterback, but I think everybody would take it.
Don't forget a brand new quarterback, but a brand new offensive coordinator. Brian's been around, and certainly he's had that opportunity, and he's called plays throughout the spring and all throughout summer camp. But this is not Chip Kelly back there. Chip Kelly was Ryan's college coach, so there's the trust level there's a little bit different. Brian Hartline, I think he's going to do a great job, but this is his first go. And he's going to be calling those plays. So you got to think that Coach Day is going to be listening intently on every one of those play calls.
And go back to that Tennessee game. Wasn't that score like 28-0 in the first quarter or something like that? Yeah. All their fans came up here and really got our team ready to go.
Then they retreated.
And this year, you guys know this, we're making a real effort to get the fans more involved in the games.
Yes.
They got to be as loud as they've ever been in this game. Kind of like that Indiana game where, you heard they had a bunch of, a few false start penalties and things like that. And, we were able to get pressure and hits on the quarterback.
We're giving out 100,000 towels, aren't we?
Right here.
Raising the flag.
For those listening on the radio, it is a scarlet towel with the gray letters V on it.
Ringing the bell.
Exactly.
I'm ringing the bell next week.
Oh, nice.
All right, guys. Up next, we'll run down the Big Ten, as well as take a couple of questions nationally for Adam Rittenberg of ESPN.com. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice-cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper, I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown.
Joined for a few minutes now by Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. And Adam, thank you for hopping on. Obviously, a huge game to start the season with Ohio State and Texas. I wanted to start with the Longhorns. We know how passionate that fan base is in Austin and how hungry they are for a championship. Really close the last 2 years. You can argue they probably should have beaten Washington 2 years ago in the playoffs. We know how close they were to tying things up late with Ohio State. How much pressure do you think is on Steve Sarkisian as close as they've been the last 2 years?
Well, I think there's always pressure to win at Texas, but I think the fact that Sark has taken over a program that wasn't sending offensive linemen to the NFL, for example, and wasn't really competing consistently in the Big 12, and has taken them to back-to-back playoff, back-to-back semifinals, I think everyone's excited about the overall direction of the program. But now you have Arch Manning, and that's another new level of hype and anticipation and expectation around this program. And, you know, with the way they've recruited, even though they lost 12 players to the NFL draft, you know, to not win a national championship in the near future, you know, would be disappointing because of all the gains that the program has made under Sark's leadership. So not necessarily like you got to win this year or you're in big trouble situation, but there's an understanding that because of how the trajectory of the program has been in so many areas and how they're really getting the full potential of Texas behind what they're doing from a personnel standpoint and elsewhere, they're absolutely now on the cusp of winning their first national title in 20 years.
Adam, going back to the Big Ten now, Penn State, you know, Drew Aller, that's one of the reasons why they're so highly ranked this year and, you know, one of the favorites to win the Big Ten. And, you know, when they win, he's really good. He completes 70% of his passes, but in the 3 losses, you know, he's completed 54% of his passes, had 3 TDs and 4 interceptions. What does he have to do to get Penn State over the hump?
Well, I think it's, again, play well in those big moments and, you know, make better decisions and also just show his talent level. I mean, this is a guy that a lot of NFL evaluators think can be one of the first quarterbacks selected in the 2026 draft. And I think the big hang-up about him is can he get it done in the big moments, because he's got the size, he's got the arm strength. He's played for a couple of coordinators now. This will be his second year under Andy Kotelnicki, who does a great job with their scheme. And so I think, you know, we're not going to learn a whole lot this week, I wouldn't think. We're going to learn a little bit more when he goes against Oregon at the end of the month, and obviously a whole lot more when they come to Columbus in November. So, you know, again, I think Drew has all the ability and everything you need to be an elite quarterback, but his big game track record, including the Notre Dame semifinal loss, to, again, I think a really good Notre Dame team, but I think most people would say Penn State had more talent than Notre Dame. You know, those things are hard to ignore when you're doing a complete evaluation of Drew Aller.
Adam, are you amongst the people that are buying that Nebraska's ready to take the next step forward?
Paul, you know me a long time, and I think I would say the one thing you could say about me, I don't do Nebraska preseason hype. I just don't do it. A lot of people love that drug, but again, I've watched them as close as anyone in their time in the Big Ten, and I'm just not there. And now, could they be a much better team? For sure. Do they have a favorable schedule? Absolutely. I mean, essentially, they don't play a road game until middle of October when they go out to Maryland, which is one of the the less intimidating environments in the Big Ten. So it is set up very much with Dylan Raiola coming back at quarterback. Dana Holgerson is returning as the offensive coordinator. They really like their offensive line. But I always say this, guys, when Nebraska joined the Big Ten, if I gave you 5 realistic scenarios for how their time in the Big Ten would go, reality has been worse than the worst case scenario. It's been that bad for them. So they just made a bowl game. That's a step. And people that are putting him in the playoff, that's a bridge too far for Adam Rittenberg.
I got to ask you the same thing about Illinois. I hear that's a team to beat in the league.
No doubt, Coach. I feel a little bit better about this one, just in the sense of you have a head coach there in Brett Bielema, who's obviously won consistently in the Big Ten for a long time, won 3 consecutive league titles at Wisconsin, understands what it takes to build a program. I think the key there is now how do they handle the expectations and the bullseye being on them. They're not going to sneak up on anyone with where they're ranked in the preseason poll. Illinois has never had back-to-back 10-win seasons, and it's going to take that, I think, for them to make the college football playoff this year. So they will be tested in the month of September. We just talked about how Penn State's schedule sets up favorably. Illinois has got to go to Duke next week. It's a good Duke team with Darian Mensah at quarterback, who transferred in from Tulane. They have to go to Indiana 2 weeks after that to face, I think, a really good Indiana team. So we're going to know where Illinois stands by the time the Buckeyes get there in October, but probably a little bit before that.
Sounds to me like they're 4-0.
Yeah, really. Adam, is this a pivotal year for Lincoln Riley out at USC?
No doubt, and that's actually another team that Illinois faces during the month of September. So, yeah, quite a lot of interesting ones. Yeah, huge season. I mean, this is not how anyone thought it was going to go when USC takes him away from an Oklahoma program where he'd been making the playoff almost every year and competing in the Big 12. And I think the reasons are vast. And if you listen to Lincoln and believe Lincoln, that program needed a lot of work, and they tried to go the transfer route early on with Caleb Williams and others. Had some success, but were not able to take that next step and went the other way last year. Now they're really trying to build it from within and develop players and develop units. And they lost a lot of really close games last year, especially on the road. And if some of those go differently, the game at Michigan, the game at Minnesota, the game at Maryland, which was Maryland's only Big Ten win, you start to flip those in your favor and continue to play well at home. Suddenly we're having a different conversation about USC. So I kind of like the way they're building the program now. I wish they'd kind of done this from the start rather than wait for 3 years. But if it's going to look ultimately record-wise like it did last year, then Lincoln's going to be in some significant trouble there.
He's got to play better defense. That's what he hadn't been doing. He didn't do it at Oklahoma, and now he's not doing it at USC.
Hey, Adam, you got Wisconsin there. Luke Fickell got a contract extension. He's got a new offensive coordinator. Sounds like they're going to get back to the pound and ground a little bit. Wisconsin has an awful tough schedule this year, and Ohio State will go there to Madison, play him later in the year. What does Wisconsin have to do this year are they a bowl-type team? I mean, that's got to be the goal for them this year to get 7 wins and get into the bowl game.
No doubt. And again, that wasn't the goal for many years there. It was much higher than that. But given what's happened in the first couple of years and the schedule, as you mentioned, I think people would be very pleased with 7 wins this season. They have to start off strong. They've got to win these first 2 games. They've got to go down to Alabama and be competitive at least. And then you look at some of their games in the conference, are there some swing games there? Can they start to make Camp Randall Stadium? As you guys know, that was one of the toughest places to win in the Big Ten for many, many years. I remember number 1 Ohio State going in there and losing to Wisconsin back in 2010. So can they create that type of environment again? They almost knocked off Oregon at home last year. Can they start to rack up some wins at home and then steal 1 or 2 on the road with an offense that I think will function a lot more like a Wisconsin offense? Jeff Grimes coming in. He's an offensive line guy. He's a pro-style guy. It'll look and feel much more like those offenses that we were used to. Billy Edwards Jr. transferring in from Maryland. I know that they really made a significant investment in him to a quarterback. So I think it'll look and feel like Wisconsin, but maybe not the record at the end of the season.
Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. Adam, we always appreciate your time. We'll touch base later in the season, okay?
Okay, guys, appreciate you. Thanks.
Up next, we were scheduled to be joined by Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. Again, the Buckeyes take on Texas on Saturday, 12 noon kick at Ohio Stadium. That and more straight ahead as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith, Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University, Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag #BuckeyesCare.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Keep your summer fun going at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now through September 2nd, get a stylish new 25 Corolla with 4.99 APR financing or 5.99 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper, I'm Skip Mossick. Again, Ohio State and Texas coming up on Saturday. Guys, we know it's an early game. There's nothing to be done about that. But how important is crowd noise going to be, especially, with a young offensive line for Texas and a first-year full-time starting quarterback for the Longhorns?
That'll be big, and we've heard Coach Day before send the clarion call out to the fans to be ready to do some of those things. The Indiana game was a great example. Certainly the Tennessee game, even though there were a bunch of volunteer fans in there. And folks hopefully have gotten over the fact that it's going to be a 12 noon start, and they'll be, getting their game preparations in an appropriate manner and funneled in the right way to be able to do that.
No, they've known for a long time that this is going to be a noon start. So get there, be loud, and crowd noise. It affects that offensive line. I used to say that was the worst thing. When you're on the road and you're standing right next. You got your center, your guard, I'm the tackle, and you can't hear a quarterback who's 4 feet away. It's stressful. And if you're an offensive lineman, a tackle, so to speak, sometimes the guards can hear. But if you're a tackle, you got to look. I mean, you got to watch your defending player. You can't look at the ball. Some guys say, well, try to pick at the ball. Well, if I'm picking at the ball, I'm not looking at my defender. So
I couldn't agree with you more. We're giving out 100,000 fans or towels.
Yeah.
They're not to sit on, guys.
Right.
Wave those things and let's have some noise.
No, you got to scream, but it's just so hard because when you become with crowd noise a defensive player because I have to react to his first move. And, obviously they can draw you off sides, things like that, but it just makes it so hard. It really, for tight ends, wide receivers, it even makes it, hard that they can't hear if we can't hear. And then the communication, because a lot of times, you're communicating 2 or 3 times with your guard during the course of a play call when you're up there at the line of scrimmage. And with crowd noise, if you miss it, somebody walks up, somebody moves, changes your blocking assignment, whether you're slipping or scooping backside or you got a tray block or you're trying to block down, all that you have to communicate with guys. And if you can't hear, it really, affects the offense. So, man, yeah, that's the biggest advantage of being at home. And especially, on third downs. I mean, that's a key money down, so to speak. You want to be loud, you want to be loud on third and longs so you can get some pressure on the quarterback. But that Indiana game is a great example because, they had confusion. The snap was coming out early. The punter, he even had some trouble with fielding a snap there. So that's, the situations there, being loud enough where they can't hear and communicate. It's a big advantage. That's why you want to be at home is for that reason.
We were expecting that sort of noise, down in Arlington. It was loud, but it wasn't necessarily. There were fans from both teams that were there, so this would be completely different coming up on Saturday.
Absolutely, and certainly what this does is it gives people an opportunity to really be able to see how their noise can affect a football game. And, you can go back to, way back in the 80s when the quarterbacks used to be able to ask the officials for help with the crowd noise. There was one particular one who's now coaching in the NFL who was notorious for that. But it's, the fans doing their part, but also it's knowing when to not make that noise, especially with a quarterback that's getting ready to make his first start wearing a scarlet jersey.
What's the loudest in the stadium in the Big Ten? Without a doubt, it's Penn State.
Yeah,
I'm sick and tired of hearing about how damn loud Penn State is. We're giving away 100,000 towels.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Get loud and wave.
I've taken the team into more stadiums than anybody's ever coached. The loudest stadium I've ever taken one to is the University of Washington.
Yep.
The second loudest is Penn State. LSU's in there. Ohio State is not mentioned in the top 10 in loud stadiums around the country.
Ohio Stadium's always been a great big game crowd, big game stadium, always for history. And it was just, it's not going to be that way for every game. But when you have a big game at Ohio Stadium, you come to expect, and I put Ohio State up there.
2002, Penn State, when Chris Gamble took that pick back. Maybe one of the loudest I've ever heard.
I thought Autzen Stadium last year was one
very
of the loudest.
Loud
that's 60,000 fans.
And Coach, Husky Stadium, they've got that overhang that sound used to bounce up and bounce down.
It's going to be raining and aluminum seats. We had a loud stadium last year against Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee and then Indiana. When they came in there undefeated, it was loud.
All right. Jacob, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll move Tim May up. We'll still try to get Coach on before the top of the hour. So that and more straight ahead as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper. I'm Skip Mossick. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation will make a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Still hanging with for Coach Dave for a couple of minutes. We'll see how fast it takes us to score inside the red zone. Joined by Tim May, longtime Ohio State reporter. And Tim, as many years as you've been covering Ohio State football, does this team remind you of any other teams that you recall with the combination of talent and unknowns?
Yeah, a little bit. It reminds me of 96, because 95, of course, you lost a Heisman Trophy winner and all those other guys. Remember the guy drafted, Eddie George and group, and in 96, you weren't really clear. You thought those guys were talented, but how good were they going to be? Turned out to be pretty damn good. You know, if there had been a college football playoff back then, they probably would have made the field, but they didn't. They lost the last game of the regular season. I don't know if you know what that game is, but they lost the last game of the regular season.
3 points.
Yeah, won the Big Ten, Coach Cooper, and then won the Rose Bowl. And that's that 95, 96, 98 team. Maybe even 97, really. But I think, Coach Cooper, you'd agree, in a 12-team format like we got today, all of those would have viable chances to win a national championship.
I don't think there's any question about it, particularly the 96 and the 98 team. I'm not saying that we're going to win it, but we would have played for it. We had a chance to play for it. Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Tim, what do you envision this defense will look like, how different it might look like with a new coordinator?
I think it's going to look sneakily more aggressive. And by that, I mean being a little more aggressive in the terms of taking some guys out of plays, meaning zeroing in on the matchup aspect of things. I mean, I thought Jim Knowles and company did a good job with that also, especially last year. But that's what Matt Patricia, that's how you cut his teeth in the National Football League. That's what you have to do as a National Football League defensive coordinator, is take away what the other team does best and kind of take away their best player if you can. But always, as Mark D'Antonio said a long time ago, affect the quarterback in all kinds of different ways. So I would look for him to be looking for all kinds of matchups that favor the Ohio State defense in terms of pass rush, maybe even in terms of stopping the run. That's why, we talk about the lack of maybe proven depth in the middle of that defensive line, but I like the way you could slide a Caden Curry or a Bo Atkinson or even a Kenyatta Jackson or somebody from the defensive end aspect of things down in there over a guard and have a little bit of a mismatch from a speed standpoint in certain situations. So that's what I think we're going to see, even kind of a takeoff of what we ended up seeing last year.
Tim, were you a fan of Darrell Royal growing up and watching the Longhorns back in the day?
Jim, no, I was not. In Texas, as I like to tell everybody, in Texas, you were either a Texas X's and you loved the Longhorns or you hated them. Three of my best buddies went to Texas A&M, and you kind of identified with the underdog there. But, because Texas was, seriously, they'll even tell you maybe they were the elitist school, kind of like another school you can think of that's pretty close to here. But I respected what Darrell Royal did. That great documentary that's out on the Wishbone is pretty interesting because Darrell Royal shared the Wishbone after Emory Bellard developed it fully under his guidance, under Darrell Royal at Texas. He shared the Wishbone with Oklahoma, where he was an alum, by the way. He was a Oklahoma alum, but also with Alabama and Bear Bryant. And, if they'd have kept a lot of the nuances of that to themselves and make people just take old-time film. That was when Coach Cooper said they watched film. They actually watched film, not video, and make them figure it out on their own. Who knows how much longer he would have gone. But he kind of grew weary because the Wishbone, especially Oklahoma, ended up kicking his butt.
I'm going to tell you, there's a great high school football played in the state of Texas. That's why Texas is pretty good, pretty solid every year.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
I used to go down there and take the second-rated players when I coached at Tulsa and won a few games with them.
Hey, Coach, you probably recruited East Texas. That's where I grew up. Bill Yeoman was taking at University of Houston was taking African American players long before anybody in the Southwest Conference was, except for me. Hayden Fry got Jerry Levias there in the mid to late '60s. But Bill Yeoman knew what good football players looked like. He went out and got them, and finally, Texas came around. Texas probably came around later than Alabama did in terms of recruiting African-American athletes, but they really missed out in that regard. But, dude, there was one time in 1974, one of the great football games, period, on any level ever covered, was Lufkin hosting John Tyler High School the year after Earl Campbell went to Texas. His two twin brothers were on that team, and Lufkin had two twin brothers named Delrick and Eric Brown, who could have been Ted Ginn and Red Ginn. You know what I mean? I mean, they were that kind of player. There were 5 Southwest Conference head coaches in the press box that night, including Darrell Royal, Frank Broyles, Dave Smith from SMU, Bill Yeoman, and Grant Taft from Baylor. Well, yes, there's football players being born every day in Texas.
Last year's linebackers were Sonny Siles and Cody Simon, and they were a great pair. Does this year with Arvell Reese and Sonny have a chance to be even better?
It's funny because Cody Simon, like you guys heard me say this at the end of the year last year, the best linebacker in the country at the end of the year last year in terms of being effective and making plays. You really like what Arvell Reese is bringing to the table. He's you hate to say this about a guy, but everybody on the team says it about him. He's freaky, just a freak. And then you add in there what everybody's gushing about Peyton Pierce, just the downhill, knock your block off kind of linebacker, old school, by the way, from the state of Texas, has something to prove when he gets into this game, and he's going to play on Saturday. I like that linebacker group a lot. Not to mention Riley Pettijohn, also a young man from Texas, a freshman who would probably like to get his licks in on Saturday.
Tim, besides Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, maybe Illinois, who do you like to be maybe last year's Indiana, and might it be Indiana?
Could be Indiana. They got a better player at quarterback than they had a year ago, in my opinion. Their schedule is tougher than it was last year. I'm not talking about the non-conference schedule. I don't think it could get any easier. but I'm talking about their conference schedule and where they play some of those games. But I do like what they've got at quarterback to transfer from California, Fernando Mendoza. But I like to say any kind of Spanish name, one of those kind of guys. But Illinois, it's hard to say Illinois could be the Indiana because Illinois was pretty much the Indiana last year when you look at the conference schedule. But a team I've got my eye on, which I think could be sneaky, there are two of them. It's Nebraska and USC. I think USC is going to be more improved than a lot of people are giving them credit for. And as I pointed out to Paul Feinbaum a couple of times already, USC started its season last year with a win over an SEC team, LSU, and ended it with a team from the SEC, Texas A&M, and USC was pretty much an afterthought in the Big Ten. So, we could get into that discussion one of these other nights.
Final question, Tim. Over/under on interceptions. Last year, Ohio State had 10 in 16 games, which, you need at least 24 in that situation. Texas had 22 interceptions last year. What is this defense? They got to get more interceptions than 10, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and, part of that is getting even more pressure on the quarterback. But I thought that defense, I don't know if you agree, I thought it became stat-wise, it was the best defense in the country last year, but I thought it started shutting down people. And, whether you get 10 interceptions or 100, as long as you're getting the team off the field after 3 or 5 plays, you're doing your job. But, yeah, you would like to see a bigger number there. Absolutely.
Longtime Ohio State reporter Tim May Podcast. Tim, we always appreciate your time. We'll touch base with you coming up next week, okay?
It's always a pleasure being on with you guys, especially when you have Coach John Cooper on the panel.
It's our favorite night when we have Coach John Cooper here with us. All right, hour number 1 has flown by. Did you guys watch some high school football this past week?
A little bit. Listen to a few games.
We have a whole bunch coming up. Our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Week Award, our American Dairy Association Mideast Top High School Performance, and our weekly whip around the state. We're still efforting with Coach Ryan Day, so we'll see what happens coming up next hour. We'll try to carve out a hole or two for Coach Day. We know Coach Cooper has a couple of important questions for Coach Ryan Day as Texas comes to town here in a couple of weeks. What was the biggest non-conference home game that you recall? What would it have been? Notre Dame? Would have been somebody else.
Oh, no, without a doubt. It was Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Bring on Notre Dame, absolutely.
I didn't know. I could have said, hey, it could have been somebody else coming in here I wasn't
Terry
thinking
Glenn.
about.
I go to sleep. Oh, everybody talk about these great wide receivers. How about Terry Glenn in the Notre Dame game?
So that and more straight ahead. Hour number 2 of our Buckeye Roundtable show. We'll hit the sidelines. Tyler Danberg will hop on with us. Our Insiders Access, Bill Rabinowitz of the Columbus Dispatch. So all that and more. Hour 2 of Buckeye Roundtable here on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Keep your summer fun going in a new Toyota Camry, America's best-selling car. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through September 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on any new 25 Camry. Or lease a new Camry LE for just $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good evening. I'm Jacob Breimer. It is officially game week for the third-ranked Ohio State football team. The Buckeyes will begin their title defense from the shoe in the much-anticipated matchup against the #1 Texas Longhorns in just 5 days. Kickoff is set for noon on Saturday. In NFL news today, 2 contract hold-ins have been put to an end. The Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson agreed on a 1-year extension that'll make him one of the NFL's highest-paid defenders in 2025. And former Ohio State wide receiver Terry McLaurin agreed to a 3-year extension with the Washington Commanders that is worth up to $96 million. In baseball tonight, the Cleveland Guardians return home, beginning a series with the Tampa Bay Rays. Tanner Bybee gets the ball for Cleveland. They are currently underway up in Cleveland. As for Cincinnati, they stay out west, beginning a series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hunter Green will be on the mound for the Redlegs, with first pitch coming shortly after 10 o'clock. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
And welcome back, everybody, into tonight's show with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, it's Ohio State and Texas. More on that coming up, but right now, it is time to talk a little high school football.
It's time for the Encova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights of the Buckeye Roundtable show is the presentation of the Encova Insurance Archie Griffin Athlete of the Week Award. During each Roundtable show, Encova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honor a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior running back Lance Cantrell from Talawanda High School in Southwest Ohio. Friday night, Cantrell had 26 carries, 423 yards, 5 touchdowns in Talawanda's 51-21 win over Taylor High School. The Braves are coached by Andy Stuckert. They're 1-0 and will play Thursday night at 0-1 Meadowdale. Again, congratulations to Lance Cantrell from Talawanda High School, the recipient of this week's Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Encova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mideast top performers and our whip around the state.
It was a great way to start with our Archie Griffin Award winner this week, 423 and 5 touchdowns for the young man from Talawanda, but that was not the only big performance.
No, Skip, I got one. Bishop Hartley running back Robert Lathan had 21 carries for 309 yards and 6 touchdowns in Hartley's 55-42 season-opening win over Elyria Catholic.
Cincinnati Anderson quarterback Owen Scout, 32-42 passing, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Anderson's 52-10 win over Cooper High School from Kentucky.
I got a wide receiver, guys. Bishop Watterson wide receiver Carter Belisari, 7 receptions for 155 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Watterson defeated Big Walnut 32-15. Watterson's pretty good, guys.
Yeah, they've won a lot of games. Lakewood St. Ed defensive end Colin Crocker had 4 solo tackles, 10 assists, 1 TFL, and 1.5 sacks as St. Edward shut out Pickerington North 24-0.
Painesville Harvey running back Sean Harvey, 290 all-purpose yards, 8 touchdowns in Harvey's 57-41 win over Berkshire.
Pickerington Central quarterback Rocco Williams, 15 out of 19, passing 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, and added 51 yards on the ground as Pick Central defeated Gahanna 45-14.
Aurora cornerback wide receiver Luke McGovern had 3 interceptions and 5 tackles on defense, returned a punt 84 yards for a touchdown, and had 5 receptions for 54 yards on offense. But it wasn't enough as Aurora fell to Broadview Heights at 21-17.
Lakota East running back Ryder Hooks, 21 carries, 289, and a pair of TDs as Lakota East won at Centerville 35-20.
Newark quarterback Bodie Smith, 17 out of 20 passing, 241 yards, 5 touchdowns. Newark 56-21 win over Licking Heights.
Manchester quarterback Tyler Pappas was 16 of 24 passing for 318 yards and 7 touchdowns in Manchester's 62-0 win over Coventry.
Walsh Jesuit linebacker Caden Carter, 2 interceptions and a sack to help Walsh Jesuit. It was 17-14 win over Toledo Central Catholic.
St. X quarterback Jackson Fry was 9 out of 17 passing, 125 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and 6 as St. X opened the season with a 14-7 win over Dakota West.
It seems like every year we have more and more of Coach Cooper's former players' sons on this list.
We know about a Fry that played at St. X.
Had some pretty good players, guys.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it.
Time for our weekly whip around the state. Big night as we begin in Tuscarawas County. Here's WJER's Bill Hammerstrom.
Ohio's leading rusher a season ago got off to a fast start on Friday. Indian Valley senior running back Grady Kinsey rushed for 334 yards on 33 carries with 3 touchdowns to lead the Braves to a 28-21 season-opening win over Greene. Kinsey led the state in rushing a season ago with 3,278 yards as he led the Braves to a Division IV state championship. Since then, he has committed to continuing his academic and athletic career at the United States Air Force. Kinsey and the defending Division IV state champions Indian Valley Braves next go on the road to take on perennial power Steubenville this Friday. For WJER in Dover, I'm Bill Hammerstrom.
Big Red won't be happy when they come in. They got beat pretty good in week 1. Up to the Cleveland area, huge night on the ground. Here's WKNR's Kevin Arnold.
Menor Cardinals senior running back Jackson Farley scored all 5 touchdowns in his team's hard-fought 35-28 road win over Olmsted Falls this past Friday night. In the win, Farley ran for 366 yards, which set the school record for most rush yards in a game since 2015, when Alex Matthews ran for 252 yards. Farley even had the record beat before the end of the third quarter. The 1-0 Menor Cardinals will travel to Erie, Pennsylvania this Friday to take on the McDowell Trojans. For WKNR in Cleveland, I'm Kevin Arnold.
All right, Kevin, to the far northwest corner of the state. Couple of nice performances there. Here's WNDH's Dave Kleck.
There were some big-time high school football performances in the northwest corner of the state in week number 1. Liberty Center won their 36th straight regular season game, and senior quarterback Caden Kreinbrink threw 4 TD passes in the first half and over 200 yards. He also nailed a 30-yard field goal. And Fairview quarterback William Zedike passed for 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, added 64 yards and 2 more TDs on the ground in a Fairview win over Wauseon. From WNDH in Napoleon, I'm Dave Kleck.
All right, Dave, let's head south. Big game and a good one in Western Ohio. Here's WCSM's Ron Brunswick.
Defending state champion Coldwater traveled to Germantown in Week 1 to take on the Valley View Spartans. Needing to replace All-State quarterback Balin Blockberger, Carson Holman steps in. The junior went 12 for 20, 202 yards, threw a touchdown pass, rushed the ball 18 times for 139 yards and 4 scores. The Cavaliers knock off Valley View on the road in Week 1, 49-48 in overtime. This week's Cavaliers now have their first home game against Clinton Massey. Again, the Cavaliers 1-0 on the young season.
All right, staying in Montgomery County, big night on both sides of the ball as we hear from WING's Justin Kinner.
The Battle of Kettering was the highlight of Week 1 football here in the Miami Valley. Alter had lost 4 straight against their rival, the Fairmont Firebirds, but thanks to a huge performance from their star quarterback, Rod Owens Jr., the Knights bested the Firebirds 28-21 in a thriller that was capped off by a scoop and score in the final minute of play. Very eerily similar to the Scoop and Sawyer play for the Buckeyes and their win against Texas last year. But Rod Owens Jr. was phenomenal. He was responsible for 3 of the Knights' 4 touchdowns to go along with his 200-plus yards of total offense on the night. Again, he helped lead the Knights to a 28-21 win over their rival, the Fairmont Firebirds. For ESPN 1410 Wing AM, I'm Justin Kinner in Dayton.
All right, let's circle to the opposite side of the state to Washington County. Here's WMOA's Andy Rex.
Guys, Frontier senior running back Caleb Kirkpatrick carried the ball 24 times for 193 yards and 2 scores as the Cougars opened the 2025 campaign with a 36-13 win over Bridgeport on Thursday night. Kirkpatrick scored on runs of 15 and 47 yards and added a 2-point conversion run. The win snaps a 3-game losing streak against the Bulldogs, and Frontier will stay at home this week as they entertain the Miller Falcons on Friday. From WMOA in Marietta, I'm Andy Rex.
Back to the central part of the state as we finish things up this week in Knox County. A couple of big performers there as we hear from WMVO's Tyler Mathias.
In the opening night for high school football with the Buckeye State, Centerburg quarterback senior Blaine Ball and senior wide receiver Hayden Love had a connection. Centerburg's 34-0 shutout win over Utica. Ball threw for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. All 4 touchdowns were hauled in by Love, who posted 240 yards receiving, including touchdowns of 90 and 80 yards. Centerburg hosts Johnstown this Friday in a battle of unbeatens. Meanwhile, sophomore Cybern Wallace had a dominant game for Danville, rushing for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. Reporting from WQIO and WMVO out of Mount Vernon, I'm Tyler Mathias.
Great job. Thanks to all of our affiliates from all across the state for phoning in. Great Week 1 of high school football. Before we get to home teams, Paul Keels, I owe you an apology. There was a typo on the kid from Painesville, Harvey. His name is Sean Alston. He plays for Harvey, and that was all on me. So apologies to moi.
Mea culpa, mea culpa.
I thought there was a lot of Harveys there.
A lot of Harveys. Where's the rabbit? I don't know. Home teams. Who's your home team now, Lachey?
Well, the Redskins won. St. Henry, they won, beat Salina. They had a good second half. And the Grandview Heights Bobcats, where all 5 of my kids graduated, they had a big win over Briggs. And how about Marion Local? 65 straight wins for the Flyers.
How'd Moeller do?
Coach Bert Bathiani, who I got to spend some time with this summer, his Moeller Crusaders beat Princeton. And a great rivalry that's so big, they made a documentary out of it a couple of years ago.
Coach Cooper, you still check out Upper Arlington from time to time?
I need to go this week. I didn't make Friday night's game.
They beat Anthony Wayne, so good opener for Arlington. They beat Anthony Wayne 31-6, and as we heard, Hartley defeated Elyria Catholic at Ursuline coming up this week, so a big road game for the Hawks. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder from Ohio's dairy farmers, 8 ounces of delicious chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein with the power to fuel everyone, including Ohio State quarterback Tavian St. Clair. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Learn more at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built like a Buckeye. Coming up, we'll break down week 0 as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
As the official hot dog of Ohio State athletics, Sugardale is dedicated to delicious. Whether you're cheering on the Buckeyes at the game or grilling at your home tailgate, you can count on Sugardale to score a touchdown. Made right here in Ohio for more than 100 years, Sugardale has always taken a personal approach to making great-tasting, high-quality meats. Look for Sugardale hot dogs, bacon, ham, and more at your local grocery store.
doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Keep your summer fun going in a new Toyota RAV4, America's best-selling SUV. Now through September 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.99 on RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper. I'm Skip Mossick. Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airs Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com. Joined for a few minutes now by Ohio State coach Ryan Day. Ohio State takes on Texas Saturday at Ohio State Stadium. Coach's comments are presented by Kroger. And Coach Day, let me ask you, what's the best thing about week one? And I guess what's the most challenging thing about week one?
Well, I think once you get to this point of preseason, I mean, you're excited to see what kind of team you have. You know, you've seen, the different, parts of the season. You've seen guys grow. Starts in the winter, goes through spring ball, and now we're into preseason. And I think that's probably the most exciting thing, is to get started and figure out what this journey looks like. And when you start an opening game like this, I mean, it's really exciting because you have everybody's attention, starting in July. I think the biggest challenge is just the fact that you have unknowns when you're going into the first game, and so that's like that every year. You got to start, and it's kind of like buying your first house or having your first child. Maybe you never feel like you're ready, but you got to go. And so here we are. We're a week out, and time to go play a game.
Coach, when you're scouting Texas, so much has changed. So much has changed on your team. What do you look at? I mean, do you watch last year's games? Do you look at the coordinators that are both the same? But how do you prepare for a team that has so many new faces? Are you looking at the players that are in the game? Do you scout those guys, or do you try to look at last year and scout some of their schemes that they used?
Yeah, I mean, we watch everything, and there's times where you feel like, okay, we have to predict what they're going to do, and then maybe sometimes you can almost over evaluate it. But then the biggest thing is what can we do well, and what can we execute. in all three phases. And to me, that's very important, especially in this first game, playing clean. We also have our new faces, and these guys, we got to give them a good, clean plan. That's the coach's job. So they go out there and play fast, take care of the football, and like I said, play clean. But we look at everything, and we also look to see again what fits our guys, because what fit last year's team may not necessarily be the same thing that fits our guys. So it's a little bit of both. You really look at what they're going to do, but you got to make sure you're doing what you think gives your guys the best chance to be successful.
Coach, what's your schedule this week? I know we've had the players out there a lot. You worked them really hard. We got a lot of coaches, and I never see anybody standing around. I've told people I think this is a well-coached football team, really well coached. What this week? We're not having contact and full pads and all that stuff. I assume this week, are we?
Right. So a normal game week. What we did was we had a mock game in the stadium on Saturday, and I think it's good to do that because we really, up until we get to the stadium, we try to go through the exact operation. So we get in the locker room, we start to do the dynamic warm-ups, what the pregame routine is like, go through the operation, the coaches being up in the box, and then halftime as well, coming into the halftime, post-game, all the way to the Carmen, Ohio at the end. Coming in, we sang the fight song in the locker room. So guys, they're not doing it for the first time. So we did that on Saturday. We sort of mimicked the game week last week. So but we took Sunday off, let everybody catch their breath. Today we came in because classes start tomorrow and sort of mimicked a Sunday, and then we'll do our Tuesday. Tuesday is base run. Wednesday's more situational. Thursday, you're kind of cleaning everything up. Friday's a walkthrough, and then you're on the game Saturday. So that's been our routine. That was our routine last year. We cut things down as the season goes on, but we'll be padded on Tuesday and Wednesday like we always are, and big practice coming tomorrow.
Coach, as part of the intriguing part of the journey, watching how leadership continues to develop, not only from the summer into the start of the season, but through the season?
Yeah, it's going to be important. As you know, all good teams have great leadership, and the motivation and the message from the coaches, is echoed through the leaders, and it's very important. It's every coach's job on the staff to echo the head coach's message, the coordinator's message, the position coach's message. And then when you have the leaders on the team doing the same thing, and you have ultimate buy-in, and you really have a chance to reach your goals. And so that's an important part of leadership, but also the production on the field. Some of the guys who are on our team, they've been through it before. They've produced. They've had to play. Some haven't, and that's a big part of leadership.
Ohio State coach Ryan Day. Coach, we always appreciate your time. We'll see you Thursday for your radio show, okay?
All right, have a good night, guys. Thanks.
All right, and Ohio State head coach Ryan Day, his comments are presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. We were teasing them during the break a little bit, talking about Week 0. We'll get to a couple of the games here momentarily, but can you ever imagine Ohio State playing a Week 0 game, especially the one over in Ireland?
Not if it's a home game. No, we saw with basketball a few years ago, Skip, where the Big Ten forces somebody to play a game at Madison Square Garden when the tournament's going to be there. They made Minnesota play a home game. Ohio State was the visiting team. There was hardly a skeleton in that building. But no, not unless Ohio State was the visiting team, and that was part of the deal.
We played that kickoff classic one year when I was coaching up in New York.
That was there?
Yeah. I remember that. Miami, yeah.
Came home and started women's crew, I think it was, or something like that.
All kinds of stuff back in there. I remember the Pigskin Classic you had in Anaheim one year as well. All right, a couple of sounds from the weekend as far as Week 0. Speaking of Dublin, Ireland, a Big 12 game. Long way to play a Big 12 game. Iowa State and Kansas State.
And Becht will run it. Roskop gave him a block. Touchdown! Rocco Becht! What a great play call by Taylor Mauser. 14 personnel. And Roskop, who was coming in motion, gave a Steve Klotz-like block to free up Rocco Becht to run it in for the touchdown.
John Walters on Learfield. Pretty good game to start the season. Number 22, Iowa State defeats number 17, K-State, 24-21.
Sloppy in the beginning with bad conditions, but one of the big plays in that game late, Rocco Becht, they went down rather than score the touchdown so that they could run the clock out and not give Kansas State a chance to get the ball back.
Pop-Tart Bowl all the way in Ireland, huh?
Yeah.
Sold a lot of those, I guess. But Beck is a heck of a quarterback. He came on last year. Of course, his father, Anthony Beck, was a former NFL player, and I think he coaches one of those UFL teams. So, a father of a football coach or a son of a football coach, Rocco's having a heck of a career.
Long way to travel. Coach Cooper, both of those teams play again this week. I mean, it's a long way to travel.
A long way. You got to give them about 3 days off.
I think they're both playing FCS schools.
Other Week 0 games. Next, we'll head to Lawrence as Kansas had their first game in their brand new home as they hosted Fresno State.
Daniels slings it out to Pickett. Can he get another touchdown? He can! Cam Pickett, have yourself a day. Fireworks are going off here at the new booth. Cam Pickett's in the end zone for a second time.
I hope it wasn't in the new booth. Brian Haney on Learfield, Kansas. They roll Fresno 31-7.
That is the name of the stadium. But, a 6-year quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and, he had some flashes a few years ago, the benefit of an experienced quarterback.
24-7 at halftime. I think that NIL money is paying off out there for the Jayhawks, I think.
Speaking of money, $450 million for that new stadium, on-campus stadium for the Jayhawks.
They wanted something more than basketball there. They got it. The pictures I saw looked really, really nice. Again, all kinds of things happening in Week 0. Again, I still don't know that I would see Ohio State playing in that, but, never say never.
Hey, are you going to touch on the Hawaii game, Skip?
Huh?
Are you going to touch on the Hawaii game?
Well, now I have to.
Yeah. No.
I have to. I was going to go to break, but we'll finish up with that.
Well,
if you stayed up late, there was a good one between Hawaii and Stanford. It came down to the end.
Caleb Freeman is the holder. Snap. Kick is up and good! And Hawaii has done it! Unbelievable, gritty performance by Mike Alejado, setting up his kicker. Stanford thought they had it in the bag. Hawaii's first win against the Power 4 team in a long while.
You set up the extra point.
CBS Sports Network with the call. Keels, you called for it, so there goes. Hawaii, a nice win over the Cardinal, 23-20.
Kenzie Matsuzawa, the kicker, came from Japan and began playing football at Hocking College in Nelsonville, Ohio, before he went to Hawaii.
They said he learned how to kick watching YouTube videos.
Yes, he was working as a waiter at a Morton Steakhouse.
Can they get my backswing back in order if I do that on YouTube? Get on. Nothing works.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like that. Speaking of nothing works like that, nothing works like this young kid. Tyler Danberg will hit the sidelines with Tyler, newest member of our team. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Love your Buckeyes? Love Donato's Pizza? Love cookies? Then you're really gonna love this. It's Donato's new Buckeye Cravings Combo. A large one-topping pizza served up with 4 decadent peanut butter frosted chocolate cookies, all for just $19.99. Perfect for game day or any day here in Buckeye Nation. Order your Donato's Buckeyes Cravings Combo today. More pizza, more cookies, more Buckeyes. Donato's. Gotta love more.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper, I'm Skip Mossick. Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day Concert Series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board. Book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Buckeyes and beat cancer.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Real quickly, Jim Lachey, normally we might see a lot of rotation in that two deep during the opener with the marquee opponent and everything else on the line. Does that two deep, I guess, stay a little tighter this week? And I guess if there were one, which position group might we see the most rotation?
I would think at the defensive end position, you're going to see, obviously, Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, C.J. Hicks move from linebacker. He's full-time defensive end now. And then they brought in Bo Atkinson from North Carolina to play some defensive end. So I would think that you would see all four of those guys rotate in and out.
Our two deep report was presented by the injury lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
Now for Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
Saturday at noon, Ohio State and Texas to open the season as we hit the sidelines with the newest member of our team, Tyler Danberg, who despite his years has called 17 different sports for Ohio State on Big Ten Plus and other platforms. And Tyler, you worked this matchup in Arlington back in January. You saw how close Texas came to tying this thing up late before Jack Sawyer's heroics. How much payback do you think Texas has in mind in this rematch?
Well, I think that's certainly a lot of things that they're thinking about. And first off, absolutely great to be with you for such a great group to be a part of it. Excited to be a part of it. But Steve Sarkisian spoke today, and he said that he's using payback against Ohio State when he needs it. But this team has a different story and a different tale to tell.
Tyler, as Skip said, you've had a chance to do a number of different sports at Ohio State at different levels. Have you had a chance to be on the sideline during a football game? And if not, what do you anticipate?
Well, not during the game before the fourth quarter, but during the fourth quarter, I've been able to have the same access as many people on the Ohio State and national beats get to. And I think what I anticipate is just a lot of palpable buzz because this game has generated so much interest. I hearken back, Paul, to that Notre Dame game back in 2022 when it's just a bunch of high-profile people on the sidelines, so much anticipation for what was a top 10 matchup. So I think it's going to be very similar, if not even more highly anticipated coming into this Saturday, similar to what it was in 2022.
Tyler, doing 17 sports, how hard was that just to get in the rule book and try to act like you know a little bit about the rules? Because, I mean, that's a lot of different sports, a lot of different things. I'm sure you spend a majority of your time just understanding the game if you weren't familiar with it.
Yeah, Jim, a lot of time went into reading the rule book, listening to other people in terms of other broadcasts and national broadcasts, local broadcasts, talking to coaches. And then the other thing, too, relying on the great support system of color analysts that you have to work with, sports information directors. There's so many people that are so open to helping. So anything from basketball to rowing, that's what we specialize as students.
Oh, yeah. How big is the student broadcasting universe become with so many different schools and people that you had a chance to come across, Tyler?
It's so funny, Paul, and I'm sure you've experienced this doing this as long as you have, but it's such a tight circle. Everybody knows everybody, whether they have met them, whether they've known them for 5 years, or they just sent them a quick direct message on social media. Everybody's connected in some way, shape, or form, similar to how athletics are as a whole. It's really cool to see just how many people are so open to helping each other in this industry.
How was your time in Frisco, Texas, calling games for the Frisco Rough Riders, and how did that go?
Steaming.
Yeah.
It was hot, but it was a lot of fun. There's so many great prospects in the Rangers organization, and getting to do minor league baseball is such a special thing because you get to see the day-to-day, and you get to see those that rise up the ranks just in one season. We had one guy, Alejandro Osuna, an outfielder. He started off in Double-A, and now he's in the big leagues with the Rangers. So it's really cool to see all the different stories unfold.
Tyler and Danberg, we look forward to working with you beginning on Saturday, okay?
Looking forward to it, Skip. Talk to you guys soon.
Well, to be young and talented, and that's all everything goes with it. Tyler, welcome to the team. More
to be old and talented.
Well, that's some of us in this room. All right. Speaking of which, Bill Rabinowitz, longtime beat writer for Ohio State football, Bill of the Columbus Dispatch, will join us next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice-cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Keep your summer fun going in the family-sized Toyota Highlander or the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander with 3 different powertrains and a full-size 3rd row. Now through September 2nd, get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.99 APR financing or 5.99 on new Highlander and Grand Highlander hybrids. Subject to approved credit through TFS. Plus get 2 years no-cost maintenance included. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. This This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper, I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeye Roundtable is brought to you in part by Encova Insurance. Encova, a proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now by longtime Ohio State reporter Bill Rabinowitz, who's worked a long time for the Columbus Dispatch. And Bill, there's always so many questions coming into any opener, but I guess the biggest ones that you have for both Ohio State and Texas coming into Saturday would be what?
Well, I think probably the offensive line for Texas, along with the quarterback, Arch Manning. I think people may have heard of him, and Julian Sayin, Ohio State's quarterback, and Ohio State's defensive line, which it's not as if these guys haven't played, but they've never been starters. So it'll be interesting to see how this defensive line stacks up against what is actually a pretty inexperienced Texas offensive line.
Bill, this year they wanted to try to change some of the traditions at Ohio State. The victory bell, instead of after the victory, is going to be played to start the game. Archie Griffin's going to ring it. We found out John Cooper's going to ring it in game 2. The bands from the south stands to the north stands. You know, what do you think of all these changes that they're going to implement, and will that bring the crowd more into the game?
It'll be interesting because we're so used to the traditions that we've seen. I mean, they're going to play Hang On Sloopy not necessarily at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. They're going to, do it kind of when it's appropriate or they feel it's appropriate. So it'll be different. I think it's good that they're trying to change the atmosphere because, let's face it, at times, especially during blowouts, Ohio State, to their credit, has a lot of blowouts. Third, fourth quarter can get a little dull. And so they're trying to perk things up. And, I think as long as they don't overdo it, because sometimes I go to these games, maybe I'm just old, and they just crank up the music nonstop, baseball games like between pitches, and you're like, let's watch the sport too. So I hope they can strike a balance. But I do applaud them for taking a look at it and trying to improve the fan experience.
Bill, are you amongst those who worry, and maybe that's too strong a word, that with the pending expansion of the college football playoffs, that matchups like this might not be in existence?
No, not really. I actually think the more teams are in it, the more likely teams like Ohio State and Texas are to play each other, because one loss or even two losses won't really hurt them that much, and they'll get credit, I think, for playing them. So I think the bigger risk is when there was either no playoff or a 14 playoff and you lose one game and then you've suddenly got no margin for error. I like a 12-team format. I understand why they want to expand it, but I kind of like the way it is now. And obviously Ohio State did last year. They won it.
Hey, Bill, I think I think we need to give Ross, our new athletic director, some credit here. I think he came in here last year and realized this stadium wasn't as loud as it should be. He's given 100,000 towels out to start the game. Get those damn things waving. Let's make some noise, for goodness sake. Let's make this a home field advantage, and particularly in a big game like we're playing this week.
Yeah, I'm sure the people about 3 hours east of us will look at those towels and go, stole that, didn't you? Well, the fact is people steal stuff all the time. This won't be a terrible towel. It'll be whatever Ohio State, decides to make it. But, I think anything that they can do to make it more of a interactive thing is good, especially in a game like this. Now, I don't think you need it in a game like this, but when you have kind of a run-of-the-mill Big Ten game, I think it's fun to have the fans feel like they're involved more.
Bill, they added a new coach, Josh Boyer, in early August. And, Josh went to Heath High School, Muskegon College, so he's a local guy, coached a bunch of years in the NFL. Now he's going to be kind of an assistant to Ryan Day. What do you envision, his role being with this team?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't talked to him, so I don't really know what his role is going to be. I just know that these days, it used to be there were 9 assistant coaches, and that was it. Basically, you had your position group. Now you look at the offensive line group, and they have like 3 or 4 coaches coaching them. It's like almost every player has an individual coach, which I think was really helpful. I mean, you get all the attention you need. After every rep, they're telling you what you did right or wrong. And so, Josh Boyer's addition, and they've had guys like that in the past, They had, oh my God, his name is escaping me, Joe from the Dolphins. He was the head coach of the Dolphins.
Philbin.
Yep.
Right. Joe
with the
Philbin,
Raiders
Joe
now.
Philbin. Right. So they've done things like this before. And again, as long as there aren't kind of too many cooks in the kitchen and everyone kind of understands what their role is, I think it's nothing but beneficial.
Bill, new book out. Tell us about that early holiday gift idea for Buckeye fans out there.
Oh, I love you, Skip. I love you.
Get in line, Rabinowitz. Let's go.
It's called Buckeye Brotherhood, which I think is a fitting title because that's what last year's team really was. And it is about the 2024 season. It's the third of my kind of Ohio State season books after 2012 and 2014. And I think I'm proud of it. I mean, when you're writing a book, it's just hell, and you always think it's terrible. And then when you're done, maybe you can look and go, oh, okay, it wasn't terrible. Now I've read it again. I think, yeah, this is I'm proud of this one. It tells Ryan Day's story. It tells not just what happened. We all know what happened, but why it happened, how it happened, and the obstacles that Ryan Day and so many others overcame to win that championship.
Is it out yet, Bill? And if not, when will it be? If it is, where is it available?
It's out October 21st. You can pre-order it at barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com. I'd love for people to support local bookstores when it comes out. I'm not sure what their process is for pre-ordering it. I'll have a bunch of signings in the fall. October 21st is the big day, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of reaction it gets.
Bill Rabinowitz of the Columbus Dispatch. Bill, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on, okay?
All right, thanks, Skip. Thanks, guys.
All right, again, Ohio State and Texas Saturday at Ohio Stadium. We will wrap things up and get into some of the details with some chalk talk. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Oh, where does the evening go? It has flown by. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, Coach John Cooper. I'm Skip Mossick. Again, we are proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $10 O-Fry O bundle. That includes a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, 8-piece chicken nuggets, and a custom OSU crown, all for just $10 at your local Burger King.
Buckeye Roundtable, Chalk Talk.
Ohio State and Texas Saturday at Ohio Stadium, number 3 versus number 1. Let's get into some real good Chalk Talk, guys. Offense, Arch Manning is getting all the attention. Very talented running back, though, in Quintravion Wisner, who can also be a threat catching the football.
He certainly can. And also they get Baxter back at running back. He missed all of last season due to an injury. So that's another added weapon as to what they have. 2 receivers that can be big-time threats. But as Tim May mentioned, the question with Texas is going to be their offensive line. They're retooling. They have one key backup, Kojo, who was injured earlier in the summer. Gooseby apparently is going to be ready to go in this game. There was some concern about him, but that's going to be an area to watch.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose another tackle with the injuries that they've had. As you said, mentioning Kojo a little bit now. Yeah, but Wisner had 44 catches out of the backfield last year. One of those for a TD. I think Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore Jr. are their 2 go-to guys as far as wide receiver. They got Emmett Mosley, the 5th, as another wide receiver. Got good size at 6'2", 210. As I talked about in that first hour, Gunnar Helm was the guy, the escape valve for Quinn Ewers last year. And, having that tight end, and I'm sure they got some talented guys, but it's just not at the same level that they've had. So get them in 3rd and long and put pressure on the quarterback.
Everybody now in college football is running the spread offense. Yep. Spread them out. They're spreading them out and running the ball. I would not be surprised to see Manning run the football more this week than you've seen a quarterback run in a long time.
Yeah, introduce himself to Sonny Styles again. There's always a danger when you have a running quarterback. You know that, Coach.
Yeah, I was gonna go there next as far as defensively for Ohio State. Who do you see as needing to have a big game for Ohio State to get the win?
Well, Jim nailed it, Sonny Styles. And this is a young man who came in with a lot of great acclaim, but he came in as a high school senior. Now we've seen him grow into that linebacker position, and he played his best football at the end of the season last year, along with Cody Simon at linebacker. It's going to be interesting to see how Sonny follows.
You know how
that
big he is now?
Bigger, right?
6'4", about 240. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Both those guys. Arvell Reese is listed at the same 6'4", 243. I think for me, it's at defensive tackles. We had, obviously last year, Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton, TNT, so to speak. Those guys were really good. Tyleik Williams was, injured a few games. Kane McDonald this year, I think, is going to have to fill that role. And then Edric Houston, who came here as a defensive end, moved him inside. He's going to have to play well inside. And then, Will Smith Jr. Is playing some defensive tackle and making some noise. So we'd like to see what number 53 can do and what kind of role he'll have on this team.
You take a look at things, Coach Cooper. Nobody knows the pressures of big-time college football like you do. The pressure to win it all at places like Ohio State and Texas, they're big, they're real. Texas has been close the last couple of years. how much pressure might be building in Austin.
They want you to win or tie, but don't tie too many. You're at Ohio State, you got to win.
Yeah.
You're at Texas, you got to win. You're at Southern Cal right now, you ought to win. You know what? You should win because you should have better players than anybody you play at all three of those schools.
Skip, this was the interesting thing. I was telling Jim before we came on the air tonight. Texas has won 11 straight true road games. They've been in the playoffs in the semis the last 2 years. This is the first time ever they've been the preseason number one. And remember, they went through all of the bumps with Coach Herman, with Coach Strong. Now where Steve Sarkisian has got them, they're in a position to be where Mac Brown took them.
I think for Ohio State, the interesting thing is having two new coordinators. You got Matt Patricia on the offense, on the defensive side. Former head coach of the Detroit Lions, obviously a longtime career as coordinator, coach with the New England Patriots. So he's used to winning. He's been around it. Had his shake at being a head coach. Now back at a coordinator, back at Ohio State. He's going to be the head coach of the defense, and he's going to have to get those guys. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And then losing a guy like Chip Kelly, and you can't blame Chip. He went from making a little over $2 million here at Ohio State to $6 million with the Raiders. That's a no-brainer. You do that one every day. And then, Brian Hartline, he's a great recruiter. We found that out. He's a great wide receiver coach. Now he's got the opportunity to be a great offensive coordinator, and he's got a lot of good football players, great football players to work with. I would like to see how that's going to evolve throughout the course of the season.
We got to keep doing what we've been doing for a number of years. We got to recruit, and we got to keep getting good players in portal. I mean, look, we got three guys from Alabama. Two of them are consensus All-American, and Evans our quarterback this year.
We talked about a couple of new things experience-wise at Ohio Stadium beginning this year. Coach Cooper brought up the towels, whatever that they're going to be waving around. I remember Coach Cooper with the rally towel back in the day.
Exactly,
was right there.
I'll wave one. I'll be out there waving it Saturday.
One of the new things is fans earning Buckeye leaves themselves for things like making some noise, which I love the idea. I'm curious to see if it's going to take off.
Where's Denny at when you need him? You get some more of those leaves printed.
Yeah, I mean, fan total or a fan? I mean, yeah.
No, fan total.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully get 15 or 20 Buckeye leaves every game for them.
I think it would be electronic Buckeye leaves, but they all count.
Why not?
It's all fine.
Yeah. We ought to hand out a little sticker, too. Maybe that's the next one.
Maybe so. Let's do it. We know it's a noon kick. Plan accordingly. The opener always has some traffic challenges for both fans and those directing the traffic and those in the parking lot. Bottom line is allow plenty of time.
Allow plenty of time. And if any of you were here in 2005 when Texas came last, if you tailgate and you bring your supplies, oversupply, because we know a legendary tailgate party that ran out of alcoholic beverages because they were being gracious to Texas fans and continue to do that.
And there was a post-game they ran out, too.
I was before, I believe.
Oh, man.
Coach Cooper, besides Keel saying score more points, Ohio State wins Saturday if
we don't beat ourselves, if we don't turn the ball over, if we don't throw interceptions, don't fumble the football, I'm telling you, I've watched them practice as you have, Jim, and we are extremely well coached football team this year. We covered everything, onside kick, 2-point conversion, extra point, field goal,
special situations.
Exactly. Play our game, we win the game.
Coach Cooper, thanks for coming down tonight. You know we always love talking college football with you. Okay. Guys, great job. Thanks for coming down this evening. Great way to kick off the season. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. For our producers tonight, Jacob Reimer. Great job, Jacob. And for Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, and Coach John Cooper, I'm Skip Mossick. As always, thanks for listening. From Learfield, this is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Visit the Good Feet Store today. Walk-ins are always welcome. Visit the Good Feet Store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with the team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
It's your final splash of the season at Zumbizi Bay. Ride the new conservation tower one last time and splash in for just $19.99 after 4 p.m. Get your tickets at ZumbiziBay.com.
Zumbizi Bay. As a former pro athlete, confidence has always been key for me on and off the field. And that's why I chose CAP in my NeoGraft treatment. They've got a great reputation. After doing my research, I knew I could trust the team right here in town. The staff was professional, answered every question, and made the whole process smooth and stress-free. The results are natural. It fit my busy schedule, and I already feel more confident. CAPS made it easy, judgment-free, and honestly, one of the best decisions I've made. Visit CAPS today at experiencecaps.com.
Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in his tidy whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services. Tailgate season is here, and if your grill makes you have to duck when you light it, it's time for an upgrade. Billiards Plus carries top-of-the-line grills that you can pass down to your kids and gifts the whole family will enjoy. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, our full line of fresh Tyson chicken is on sale. Select varieties or buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.